Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Dolly died. Tech titans battle over wealth tax. Millions and millions are still here, but no one knows the numbers. Cartels exploiting dating apps. Meta settles social media harm case, and a whole lot more. Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. I'm Sam Bushman with a lot of hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use, and it no doubt starts now. Sheriff Richard Mack not with us today. He's traveling to a speaking engagement. Jack Mullen will join me later in the broadcast, and of course, it is Wednesday. What does that mean? It means you've got the live Liberty Roundtable show followed by the CSPOA, the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, exclusive webinar for Posse members. Become a member of the Posse today, cspoa.org. And once you're a member of the Posse, you can get exclusive access to the webinar after the Liberty Roundtable live show. So the only people that are viewing this broadcast live for video are the folks that are members of the CSPOA. It's one of the perks we're starting to add. We're trying to provide more and more and more value for CSPOA members. That's what it's all about. Jack will be joining me soon. In the meantime, I got to give a big old shout out to Dolly Parton. She passed away yesterday. I guess cancer killed her. Finally, 80 years old. She lived a wonderful long life. Well known, born in a one-room cabin from what we understand back in the day. And just lived a wonderful life, did a lot of philanthropy work and a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of tributes people are giving, including Donald Trump, to Dolly. And she was a class act, married to her husband for a long, long time. An example of marriage and, from what we understand, fidelity and good stuff there. Just a great lady, a lot of philanthropy work and everything else. And I wanted to give my own little tribute to Dolly Parton. I wanted to rest in peace. But she was so influential that everybody wanted to sing her songs. I mean, everybody knows 9 to 5. Everyone knows Islands in the Stream and some of the different things that she was responsible for. But Jolene has got to be one of her most poignant songs that people know. It's a plea from one woman to another saying, please don't take my man, right? And everybody has wanted to sing Jolene. Miley Cyrus, which is the goddaughter of Dolly Parton, from what we understand. Anyway, she sang the song. Many, many people have, but my favorite version is from a group called Pentatonics. And I'm sure that they're going to block this show from going up on YouTube or whatever. They're going to say, oh, it's copyright. You can't play this. And my response is, can you play once in a while something when someone years an 80-year great life and you want to give tribute to them and you highlight them and say, this is a tribute to their life. This is a tribute to their talent. This is a tribute to their character and who they are and what they did. And hey, they were so popular. Everybody wanted to sing her songs and sing with her and everything else. So I've got a live tribute. It's up on YouTube, by the way. So interestingly enough, it's interesting that YouTube could play it. If you go on YouTube, you can find this. Look for Pentatonics and Dolly Parton, Jolene. But if they block mine, then it's interesting that they can have it available for anybody to watch, but yet I can't give my tribute along with a version everybody could watch. It'll be very interesting. We'll see what happens with that kind of an issue. But here it is, Pentatonics and Jolene. It's a great video.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Her beauty is beyond compare with flaming locks of auburn hair, ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain. I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. But I can easily understand how you could easily take my man. You don't know what it means to me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, Jolene, Jolene.
have your choice of man, but I can never love again, and he's the only one for me, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you, and whatever you decide to do, Jolene.
Jolene, oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, please don't take him just because you can. Oh, please don't take him even though you can. Oh, please don't take him even though you can. Oh, Jolene.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, an incredible rendition of Jolene. What's interesting to me about that version is, I don't know if you're familiar with Pentatonix, all of you, but all they do is use voices. There's no instruments in that. There's just human mouths doing all the bass and all the percussions and all the blending, and it really highlights Dolly's incredible voice on the top there, doing a great job. You've got this old country artist that has seen generations of changing country music, and she's managed to stay at the top of it for decades. She had many crossover songs and everything else. 9 to 5, just well known. But the Pentatonix one is great because it all just shows their voices and they're blending with Dolly. And anyway, it's pretty impressive. And then the Miley Cyrus version of Jolene being her goddaughter, pretty good too. Anyway, she joins her husband on the other side. And I would like to testify that we know people live after this life. To those of you who aren't sure, I'm telling you right now, we live after this life, and we return to our God. And that's something really, really important to understand. I'm not here to debate the keys of theology, but I am telling you there is life after death. And so I'm sure she's with her husband now, and she lived a great life. And what a tribute. I went to Branson, Missouri, by the way, and Dolly Parton has a venue there, I guess is the best way to describe it. And what you get is you get a good old Southern dinner. And then they have these jousting contests, and it's between the North and the South. So it's very kind of Civil War-esque. And it was kind of funny because myself and my dear friend James Edwards and our wives went to this event, and they sat us on the side of the North. So it's kind of funny because James Edwards, well-known Southern leader and stuff like that. And I, of course, identify more with the South than I do the North in the war. I think both sides had some validity to their points. I'm against slavery, for example, of any kind. I'm against slavery today, too. So the IRS needs to go away because they're slaveholders. But anyway, I digress. I bring that up because it's interesting. They put us on the side of the North in this thing. And every time the North was winning, we kind of had a thumbs down for it, even though we were sitting on that side. We didn't have a choice. We didn't really know what it was going to be like when we went. We just went where our seats were, and that's what happened to us. Anyway, kind of interesting, though. But anyway, I digress. Dolly Parton doing a wonderful job, and she represented the South and represented America very well, in my opinion. The Pentatonix, a younger group of well-known musicians, basically thought it was so important to do that song with her, and what a rendition it was. Anyway, enough on Dolly, but I thought it was really important. She avoided a lot of politics, too. She didn't get into a lot of that, but she did live a well-lived life. All right, Meta is in the news. This California court case going on. Meta settles social media harm case for $16.7 billion. Woo, that's a lot of money. $16.7 billion. And they say they're going to change a lot of what they do. Basically, they're settling because they realize if they're not careful, they'll, have to pay a lot more money than just that. So I think of what, $16.7 billion. I mean, I don't even know how to understand how much $1 billion is. We do our broadcast on Thursdays. It's the Honest Money Report, and we talk about constitutional currency, gold and silver. And our guest there from Free Water Coin Co., his name is Heath Perkins, and he talks about that, and he explains, how long does it, or how many seconds does it take, for $1 billion or $1 million, or $1 trillion. And the numbers are just insane of how many seconds $1 billion seconds is versus $1 trillion seconds. And it literally changes from, months to years of seconds. It's insane, the numbers that you get from that. Anyway, I thought I'd bring that to your attention as well. Now, CNN, I don't know if you know this, but CNN had a meltdown yesterday. CNN broadcast goes dark. I kid you not, goes dark for over an hour. I'll kind of tell you how it happened in just a minute, but it's very interesting indeed. The new media taking center stage as CNN struggles. All right, Mac's not with us today, but this is the rendition of his show. Following this live broadcast is the incredible CSPOA webinar. Become a member of the posse today to get your ticket to ride. CSPOA.
Every day, Americans are told to hate each other while the people in power keep winning. But what if there's another path? What if Americans could come together and take this country back peacefully before it's too late? The Democrat murder of America, demagoguery in the first degree, exposes the corruption, manipulation, government failures, and political games pushing Americans further apart while our country slips deeper into crisis. Inside, you'll discover powerful insights into political hypocrisy, media bias, government overreach, the national debt crisis, and the growing culture of division destroying trust in America. More importantly, this book offers a call for peaceful action, accountability, unity, and restoring the values that once made this nation strong. If you're frustrated with the direction of this country and looking for answers outside the mainstream narrative, this book was written for you. Join fellow Americans who still believe this nation is worth fighting for. Available now at murderofamerica.com.
Former Sheriff Richard Mack recounts in his book The Proper Role of Law Enforcement, how he came to realize while working as a beat cop how wrong the all-too-common orientation of police officers is when they think of their job as being to write tickets and arrest people. Richard Mack tells of his personal transformation from by-the-number cop to Constitution-conscious defender of citizen safety and freedoms. Learn what it really means to serve and protect. Purchase your copy at CSPOA.org. That's CSPOA.org.
Sheriff Mack, standing tall, still answering freedom's call, a badge of promise, a constitutional track history. Won't forget Sheriff Mack.
Back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Bushman on your TV, radio, live on the special exclusive video feed for CSPOA members. Become a member of the posse today, CSPOA.org. So CNN had a big outage yesterday, and the outage was real, but they say it wasn't as long as you're claiming, Sam. This is the fact checkers over at the chat companies. They all want to, fact check you. CNN went dark for nearly an hour. Overstates what happened to CNN's signal, they say, on Monday, August the 24th. That's yesterday. So CNN's live feed began breaking up shortly after noon Eastern during Inside Politics with Dana Bash. Viewers reported frozen video, severe pixelation, broken audio. On some distribution systems, a completely unavailable signal. CNN International were affected, and the problem was broader, they claim, than CNN. HBO, TNT, we're also reporting disruptions. The best detailed timeline, they say, puts the main CNN disruption at roughly 30-40 minutes, not a continuous hour-long blackout. One report said the trouble began around 12:15 p.m. Then CNN's signal returned around 12:45 and then remained unstable for about 5 more minutes. Dana Bash formally acknowledged the outage at about 12:51. And so some are saying 25 minutes is serious interruption. So it all depends on how you want to gauge how long it was. I believe the mainstream press trying to minimize this, saying it wasn't just CNN, it was a bunch of stuff. It wasn't near that long, but it all depends. Because if Dana, reported it at 51 after, does that mean it's all solved? Or anyway, CNN said only that there was a, quote, technical issue across Warner Brothers Discovery that caused the CNN channels to lose their signal. And no one has really identified the underlying cause. whether it was a transmission system failure, a networking problem, some other issue, a power problem, something else. No confirmed evidence that it was a cyber attack or a, quote, hacking incident. Now, this is interesting. You see that at the bottom of the story that they say that, right? And one of the things that the late Jerry Hughes, well-known talk show host of a program called Washington on Trial back in the day, well-known talk show host that was kind of one of my mentors in the business, if you will. He always said, nothing's official until it's been denied. And that's an interesting kind of a quote here. It's interesting that they tell you this. They minimize it. But at the end of the day, you had a massive outage. And if you're not going to tell me what caused it, okay, if you haven't publicly identified the underlying cause, whether it was a transmission system error, networking problem, software issue, power problem, or something else, if you don't identify what went wrong, I don't really like you telling me that there's no confirmed evidence that it was a cyber attack or a hacking incident. So we know what it wasn't for sure, but we're not telling you what it was, or we don't know what it was. See, that lacks credibility, in my opinion. If you can come back and say, no, listen, here's exactly what happened, and it's not a cyber attack, then I might give you some credence. I might believe you. I might say, okay, that makes sense to me. I get it. But when you don't give me any evidence of anything or any explanation that makes any sense, but then you say, well, we know there was no evidence of this. How do you know that? If you don't know what caused it, how do you know that? And so, see, it creates a credibility crisis for me. Then I bring this up to ChatGPT, and they says, well, Sam, what you're saying is not exactly true. I'd tighten your headline. Major Warner Brothers discovery failure. Knocks CNN off air. Scrambles multiple networks. And then they say a major technical failure. How do you know it was a major technical failure if you don't know what it was? See, I don't really like that. There's no verified evidence of a cyber attack. But we don't know. And so that's what I really reject this idea. You aren't telling me what's going on, but you say what it's not. That's a classic example of there's more to hear than meets the story. Now, am I saying it's a fact that it was a cyber attack? No, I'm not. I'm not saying that at all, but I am saying you lose credibility big time when you're sure what it's not. You rule out things, but yet you don't know what it is, or you're not telling me what it is. Think about that for a minute, folks. And I am convinced it's very possible. This is not fact, but it's very possible that a cyber attack of some kind happened, and they're not admitting to it. They've been told by the government, you know what, don't tell what happened here. We don't want to alarm the public. And, I know this. We've had power outages recently. We've had now CNN off the air. We've had massive internet failures of different companies going down over the last many years. We've had our air traffic system go down. We've had water plants being messed with. And they want you to believe that none of those are cyber attacks. They don't know what happened, but they know it's not a cyber attack. And my response is I believe many of these probably are. We've got all kinds of fights around the world, from the drug cartels to Cuba to China to Russia to North Korea. Oh, now Donald's friends with the North Koreans. To Iran, to the Ukraine. We got all kinds of hot spots around the world. Venezuela. And none of these happen to be any cyber attacks. At some point, their credibility becomes a crisis in and of itself with a lack of clarity. They want you to believe that, oh, man, Donald Trump and company were tied into Russia. But yet there's no vote fraud of any kind. See how the credibility starts to just fray at the edges? It starts to really become questionable. And I don't mean to go off and be this crazy conspiracy theorist about this, but I am going to tell you, you can't have it both ways. You can't say there's no vote fraud of any kind, but yet, hey, Donald's tied to Russia. Oh, this and that, and but yet they claim there's vote fraud when it's the shoe on the other foot. It goes on and on. It's very, very interesting. All right, there's a big old tech titan clash over, quote, California wealth tax. Sergey Brin, that's one of the leaders of Google back in the day, he leads the multi-million-dollar charge on this thing. Billionaires battle. Over $100 million he's put in to block California's, quote, historic wealth tax. So tech titan led by Sergey Brin have marshaled vast financial resources against California's proposed billionaire taxes, Prop 40. Yeah, Prop 40 in California. It's coming up for the midterm elections. And Brin has injected over $100 million himself into building a better California aimed at swaying Americans' opinions because he wants to counteract this, ballot measure through hefty ad spends, right? It's showing a massive problem in campaign funding, but it's also a massive problem that the government of California is trying to do this in the first place. Despite having a state health care union backing and grassroots support, proponents of the tax, which tax individuals that are wealthy, if you have a net worth of over $1 billion, then you're in the crosshairs of this thing. And so that's kind of the debate here. The contentious measure, they say, if passed, could make California the first state to tax total wealth, including stocks and personal possessions. In other words, a property tax. And the problem with this, folks, is, sadly, they say the way California goes oft times the way the nation goes. Governor Gavin Newsom and key state Democrats joined tech mobiles in their opposition, citing competitive disadvantage concerns, while tax advocates argue that the measure is a crucial step necessary towards addressing wealth inequality. As the November ballot looms, both sides brace for a, quote, high-stakes confrontation in what has become a quintessential battle over the future of wealth distribution. And I'm just telling you right now, Ronald Reagan talked about trickle-down economics and such. He was from California, led the Actors Guild and everything else. But he would be against this. And I'm against this. Just because somebody's wealthy, I don't think that gives us any right to attack their money. And there is a high-stakes confrontation about this, that's for sure. And where it will go, I don't know. But I will say this. When we talk about the future of wealth distribution, do you want the government deciding that for you folks? Because right now it's a billionaire tax, above $1 billion. But how long till it's the millionaire tax affecting a lot of people? And most of us are going to say, well, I'm not a millionaire. But when you total up, if you live in California, if you have a house, it's your total wealth by asset. Okay? It's not just your, wealth. It's, a lot of us are millionaires and we don't even know it. Many of us say, well, we're house rich and penny poor kind of a thing. Because, you buy a house and then it goes up in value so much, your house is worth a lot of money. Of course, you can't sell it and buy another house very easily because you'd have to spend a lot of money on your next house. And right now, for example, I don't have a house that's worth a lot. I bought it for $150,000 and now it's worth like $600 almost. Wow, Sam, you're rich. Problem is, if I buy a new house, it's going to cost that much or more. And I've got a low interest rate, 2.75%. And if I move, then instantly I replace it with a 6 or 7 or maybe more percent interest rate. See, that's not going well for me. So it sounds like I'm wealthy. Well, pretty soon they'll take that billionaire tax and make it a millionaire tax. And they'll start to slowly ratchet it down and it'll affect everybody. And then eventually it'll be a violation of your private property rights, folks. We got to reject this California thing. I don't mean to be on the side of the wealthy on this, but I am on the side of private property preservation. And I am on the side of saying government cannot be the arbiter of redistributing wealth. That's for sure. All right. First half of the broadcast in the can. Spread the word, share the love. We're everywhere. YouTube, Rumble, X. We're also on LibertyRoundtable.com. Spread the word. God save our constitutional republic.